Welcome to Make More Marbles. My name is Brad Hart. I'm coming to you from sunny Florida, USA. I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus from my travels to make some videos, to catch up with some work. Honestly, I was just having trouble keeping everything moving on the road as well as I'd liked, especially with time zones. So I'm coming back to do a couple launches to catch up on some things, and then hopefully I'll be back on the road sometime soon. But it's always nice to see family and friends here in the States. And I couldn't pass up a generous offer to take a siesta in this lovely house. I got a nice 3-bedroom house here I'm staying in. So thank you to my very gracious benefactor for that. I am taking an ice bath. I've been doing 5-mile runs every single day. And the reason I want to talk to you today is because I want to talk to you guys about the little voice that everybody has, right? That monkey mind, that chatter that everybody has. And some of the strategies that I use to give the monkey mind a little bit of reprieve, right? Because ultimately your state, your emotional state is tied to 3 things. It's tied to your physical body, right? So working out, exercising, eating right, lifting weights, all those things can contribute to a better physical state, right? That's about half of the combination. The other 2 parts, which make up about, I would say 30-20, give or take, are your focus, right? What you focus on. I would say that's like 30% of what actually happens, right? And then the language that you use, and coupled together, they can be extremely powerful force, which can actually overweigh the physical body. So I used to think throughout my whole life that the physical body was everything, right? If I just took care of my body, my mind would be fine, everything would be all good. Turns out that the mind and body, while connected, the mind and body are more connected than what you initially thought, right? If your mind is squirrely, if your mind is distracted, if your mind is negative, or, let's just put it another way, like you're always creating something. You're either creating something positive and productive and beneficial to you and others, or you're creating something not so much, right? You're creating something that's poisonous or harmful, or if left on its own to its own devices would become like cancerous, right? So ultimately, if you're going to master your physical body, you have to also master the mind, right? You have to also start paying attention to what goes on between your ears, your thoughts, your feelings, maybe journal them throughout the day, maybe make a video log, whatever it is that works for you. I know some people work in different mediums. Myself, I like video. It's all good. But whatever it is, start taking a log of the things that you think during the day. One of the things I do with my coaching clients is I ask them to sit down, block out all distractions for a couple hours a day. And I try to get them to do this for at least a week, but if they can do it for 30 days, it's even more powerful. And, people really never take this type of time for themselves. There's work, there's kids, there's family, there's all this type of stuff, commitments, but ultimately your relationship with yourself, if it's strengthened, you have more to give others. So starting with yourself, it's being like selectively selfish, like, right? Starting with you, making you as strong as possible will only serve to enrich others' lives as well, because you'll have more to give ultimately. And that's what life is all about. It's about growing, it's about giving, right? So I challenge my clients to sit in a room for an hour a day and just write, or just talk into a camera, and go through these notes just once, and just look through them. And you can keep them as a record or not, but the point of it is not to have a record. The point of it is to basically go through and understand what's actually going on in your head, because it's really hard to articulate up here what's actually happening until you hear it, yourself saying it, or read it, what you wrote down, right? So I get into a flow state, I'll write for a good hour, hour and a half, just everything that's on my mind, and just keep it going and get it out of your freaking head, right? Just purge it all. It doesn't need to be going on the loop up here, right? Whatever it is, no matter how horrible it is, no matter what it's bothering you for, right? No matter how dire the situation seems, ultimately, if it's up here, it's poison, right? It's just gonna get worse and worse and worse. It's just gonna keep cycling and keep growing and keep getting stronger. And eventually you're gonna start to see the physical manifestations of that, both in your own physical body, in the form of illness and being tired and being stressed and being anxious and being depressed, and also the outside world, right? Because we're always creating, right? We can't not be creating. That's our purpose here, right? We are created in the image of a creator. If you believe in such things, great. But that means that we also create, right? That's our purpose. And whether we create something that's powerful and useful or something that's horrible and terrifying is really up to us, right? We have that choice, and that's a powerful, powerful gift. And the stronger your mind gets, the stronger your body gets, the more capacity and leverage you have to create. However, you have to be more careful also, and more, I guess not careful is the right word, but more mindful is a much better word, of what you're actually creating. on a day-to-day basis, right? Is it something that's serving you in the world, or is it something that's taking away from your energy, right? Is it something that is a legacy that you want to leave, or is it something that maybe you wouldn't be so proud of, right? And emotional states are very powerful things, right? In the right emotional state, people have given amazing inspirational speeches. They've built incredible works of art, right? They've built billion-dollar companies, and it's just the consistency of your state that produces that, right? It's like your hack, essentially. Like, you want a hack, you want a life hack, that's your hack. Stay in a beautiful state as much as possible, and you'll continue to produce your best work. You'll continue to create the best relationships. You'll continue to have the most fun. If you're consistently falling out of a beautiful state and not doing the work to get back into one, which a lot of times is just letting go of whatever's going on in your head is, then you're gonna have a lot of problems ultimately, and they're gonna compound, right? Because that's gonna start to manifest itself in the physical world. And this is not a lot of woo, like your actions. This is how it basically works. Let me break it down for you. So your beliefs form thoughts, form words, form actions, form habits, form reality, which forms your destiny, right? So if you want to really look at where you're going, your destination or your destiny, you got to start with your beliefs, right? Your beliefs and your emotional state thereof is going to consistently dictate what ends up happening in your life. Make sense? So again, beliefs become thoughts, become words, become actions, become habits, become results or the manifestations thereof, and then destiny. That's where you're going. Over a long enough time, if your beliefs are screwy, it's awesome. And here's the thing you gotta understand is that just because you have a negative thought from time to time doesn't mean that you're screwed, right? It doesn't mean you're bad. You don't have to walk around like a Hindu cow every day, like nothing ever goes on. Things are gonna come up, right? But it's consistently bringing your focus and your attention back to all the good in your life. And the key to all this is being grateful, right? Ultimately, no matter where you are, there's relativity, right? No matter what you're doing in life, no matter who you are, I don't care if you have $1 billion, or you have nothing, I don't care if you have everybody in the world, relationships, the best in the world, kids, the whole thing, or nobody in your life, there's always somebody who has it worse off than you in some way in their life, right? And the comparison game is not a good one to play, but in a way it can be useful because ultimately you have no problems, right? You don't have any problems. There's always somebody who has it worse off than you, who has more challenges and struggles in their life and has done more with their life as a result because that pain has made them stronger. So if you can flip the script and start to be grateful for your pain and not worry so much about, hey, I should have this or life should be this way, and just enjoy every moment and be grateful for every day, then the whole game changes. Imagine if you could be grateful instead of annoyed or pissed off every time something bad happens to you, because it's making you stronger, right? It's making you better. It's giving you a bigger ability to enjoy more. How would that feel, right? So I guess that's kind of what I'm talking about today. Is like, get out of your head, get it on paper, get it on video, do whatever you got to do, purge those demons, get them out, right? You don't need this shit running through your head every day. It's just not useful. And I'm just as guilty of this as anybody else, right? The smarter you are, I don't care how smart you are. I'm a pretty smart guy. The smarter you are, the worse it is. The more of it just happens. But ultimately, the mind is a tool. You are not your mind. You are the thing behind that, right? You are the awareness, the consciousness behind that. So remind your mind to shut the fuck up once in a while, right? Or give it something to focus on. Your breath, right? In and out. Give the monkey mind something to do. Focus on the breath. Focus in, focus out, right? If you could do that 10, 15, 20 times, you're right back to even keel again. And it gets bad, guys. If you let this go too long, you're going to be waking up stressed. You're going to be going to bed stressed. You're going to be in the middle of the day having panic attacks. Trust me, I've been there. Don't be there. Don't do that. Nip it in the bud now. Well, you got little problems, so they don't become big problems. Cool? Well, I'm going to finish up my ice bath here in a minute. Thanks for keeping me company. This is Brad Hart. This has been Make More Marbles. I'm coming to you from sunny South Florida. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like videos like this, I urge you to subscribe to my channel. Check out the website, makemoremarbles.com. And as always, hit me up in the comments or shoot me an email if you have anything to say, constructive or otherwise. Appreciate it.